Okay, guys, so my topic is the phrase, cut the Gordian knot. I thought it was super interesting. I wanted to pick it because it probably had a really great story behind it, and it does. First of all, the definition of it is to solve a difficult problem in a quick, dramatic way. And the story related to it dates back to roughly 400 BC. It's like a super rough estimation because there's a lot of different versions of this same story, but I'll go ahead and tell you the most common. There was a man named Gordius, and he was a farmer, and one day, this happened in a place called Phrygia, which is modern-day Turkey. He was farming, and an eagle landed on his ox cart, and it stayed there all day, and he didn't know what it meant, so he went to go into town to see some soothsayers and figure out what it meant. And on his way in, he met a young woman who explained to him what the eagle landing on his cart meant, and she suggested that he go make a sacrifice to Zeus. And so they went together and did it, and he took her as his wife. And then sometime later, they had their son Midas. You probably know who that is. And then the timeline is really muddy on this, but eventually some uprisings happened in the town, and an oracle said that the next person to come in with an ox cart would be the person to end these disturbances and should be made king. So then Gordius, his wife, and Midas go into the city. The people see that he has an ox cart, and they make him their king. And to commemorate this happening, he goes to the temple of Zeus and ties up the ox cart with a really, really complicated knot. And then another oracle comes along and says that the person who can untie this knot is going to be the ruler of the world. So around 333 BC, Alexander the Great comes in and wants to prove to everybody, his supporters and his enemies, that he really is going to conquer the world, and he decides to try and get this knot untied, and it ended up drawing a crowd because he was at it for so long and he still couldn't get it, and then becoming pretty frustrated by the fact that he can't untie this, he draws his sword and says something to the effect of, "What does it matter how I unloose it?" and cuts it in half. And so after that happened, there was a really bad thunder and lightning storm, which everybody took to mean that the gods were happy with what had happened, and he did go on to have a pretty successful military career. So that is the origin of it. It's still used now, and it's kind of the first written occurrence that I could find of it is from Shakespeare's Henry V in 1599, and it says, there's a character named Canterbury who says, "List his discourse of war, and ye shall hear a fearful battle rendered you in music. Turn into any cause of policy, the Gordian knot of it he will unloose." So that was the earliest written occurrence I could find. And it's still used now as a phrase, and there's a couple of other ways it's used. There's something called the Gordian's knot, which is a really complicated puzzle that there's kind of a pretty big controversy over different ways to solve it, which ways are legal, which ways are illegal, and I'm trying to go fast so I won't show you all the comments, but there's like a ton about what's legal and what's not, and also, what are you wasting your life on? So there's that, and then there's also an episode of Phineas and Ferb where they sing a song about untying the Gordian knot, and there's a band called Gordian Knot, and it's like rock, but there's no lyrics, and they have like a lot of songs out, and it's pretty good. So that's where it started, and this is how we use it today. That's it.
Well done.